Sanje Jusumbe Chöde Negap the Tartu Kundu Pembachire Aranshin Kun La Anshikun Deni Devar.
The path of the Buddha is good in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. It's a path that leads from happiness to happiness. And we can appreciate that from just listening to the way that the Buddha himself has captured the essence of the Buddha Dharma by saying, do not do anything that hurts others, do not do anything evil, accomplish what is perfectly good, and tame your own mind. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Just by hearing these words, we can appreciate the authenticity and the perfect value of the teachings. Because is it not true that by doing evil, meaning doing things that are painful and create suffering, that this is something that no one likes. It's not something that we ourselves appreciate when we are like that, when we bring pain on others, nor is it anything that others appreciate. Everyone agrees that this is bad, to make others suffer. And in the same way, to do what is perfectly virtuous, that's to do what is good for others, to make everyone happy. And isn't it as well something that we universally agree about, that if everyone can flourish, if everyone can be happy, then that's perfectly good. There's no disagreement about this. And we also know, when it comes to the third statement, tame your own mind, we know that the story of our mind is not just about excellent qualities, and we also know that it's not all bad. We know that there are good aspects of our mind, just as there are problematic and less good aspects. But what the Buddha does is to show what the mind really is, show the fundamental nature of the mind. And that basic condition is pure and perfect. It is perfectly excellent. And when things seem to be different, it's basically because of not being aware of that flawless excellence, which is the nature of our mind. So what the Buddha does is to point out that nature so that we can acknowledge it and experience that excellence, that perfect excellence, which is the basic nature of the mind. When we don't, when we are not aware of how we are at the most basic and fundamental level, then we can come to think and feel in so many ways that run counter to the actual way that we are. In other words, we can give rise to so many thoughts that disregard that basic nature and that make our minds tremendously disturbed. We can give rise to what are called mental poisons, strong negative emotions that blind ourselves and make us do things that create misery for everyone. And as a result of that kind of thinking, we have to act. When those emotions come to our mind, we don't have any choice, we have to follow, and so we are brought to do things that actually create pain and misfortune. For ourselves, the consequences are pain in what is called samsara, the circle of birth and death. We also know that human beings, that they suffer. It's not that being a human being means freedom from suffering. There are so many aspects of pain and suffering that have to be borne by human beings. However, all of this is the result of that kind of negative conditioning of our own consciousness.
Tene do ji jen la so ba na song yore sem to na sangje yin ba da sem ji ne lu de to na sangje sen de ter ma do sangje sen de shen na cha la yo ma re se shen de cha la me ben du shi ji song are la tene do na sangje ji chue le jang go yore zambul in de la jang sha mo bo yore sangje chue na la khar song yore cha na ja chim bo ke che she na she cha ke nam sha song yore tene sheje namsha, shideni ki namsha, tena lamsoni ki namsha, dribu kuni ki namsha, ta kora rob zamche no. Te nyingbun robo te ta tambe chö te tangbo tepa che, parido sambe rondo che, Tene inchi 냠소 랑거로 마도 냠소 말하는 덜그 말해. 냠소 말하는 덜. 냠소 말하는 덜그래. 치카레레 신도 sem나 주잔네. 냠소 말하는 치카레레 기때나 나랑 기성 치키 생마 레레 짱 저송도와 상지 송비 치키 생마 레레 짱 된 요만 좀 되게 내가 여봐이나. tene chochi pumbu jetu shidong jang, tene sumda jude shile jang na, pemba kacha yongore. Songza, ta nganzu chosam gomsum ya matabati chaya kalchimbore la, tene nganzu tari seminarin dekab la, gomtun chik tang, tene choshe chi niyo bare. Ta tata gomtun ti keyo. Gomtun kapsulo, chul la ne badang. 출내 투던 공부다 삼발란에 rab도 저도 저다 검라래 진짜 같이 계세요. 당은 또 퇴바쳐야 돼. 야보도 또 퇴바쳐다 자는 저기 검자고 야보시라래. 퇴롱매비 검롱매비 되네. 저바 톰도 예바이나 됐을까 하고. 퇴바쳐롱매발 남성 검장로 싫어. 매비 남성 저바 톡 해야지. 레바잖아. 되네. 됐어 레바테 개차바쳐요. 당부 퇴배 런도 야보지 제. 그봐. 되네. 검냠네 야보지 용을 뿌다보지. 제. 되네. 거나 걸와도 너와 추바매봐. 두수 통통 찔러. 사달 남지 연대 탐지 존이. 랍 칠루 찔러. 송주 도제 창침도 건방 톱도 봐. 근데 용토배 당마 간다. 창남 많아로. 이제 된지 감되나 하단다. 쇼디요.
In the Buddha Dharma, it's taught that if we realize what our mind is, then that itself brings enlightenment. That's, for example, how it's put in the ornament of the Mahayana Sutras. If you realize mind, you awaken. So, in a sense, this is what the Buddha Dharma comes down to. But the Buddha Dharma is vast and it's profound. It is concerned with actually everything. Because the teaching of the Buddha is a teaching that is in terms of appreciating things as they appear to us and as they actually are. In other words, they address both levels of reality, the relative reality and the ultimate reality. And we are to understand all of it. We are also to understand the path that consists of the two accumulations. And then we are to understand what it means to awaken. What are the qualities of enlightenment? What are the two bodies of enlightenment, the two kayas? So all of this is what the Buddha Dharma is about. If we look at the real scope of the teachings, then it is as vast as this. But it's also said that a single drop of teaching has the power to liberate. In other words, if one can receive just one statement of the Buddha's sacred Dharma, become clear about the meaning of that statement, and then let it ripen one's mind. That itself allows for the full passage to liberation and awakening. Every drop of the enlightened voice has this capacity to lead to the ultimate fruition. So think about it, if every statement has that power, how might it not be if we could understand everything, if we can really acquaint ourselves deeply with the teachings in all their various aspects, the three or four Pitakas, the 4 sections of mantra. If we can go through all of the teaching of scripture in a genuine way, think of the results. And studying Buddha Dharma is somewhat different from studying and receiving an education in the common way of this world. Because the Buddha Dharma, it does contain an element of learning and reflection. That's very important. Because we need to understand, we need to become clear about what this is. We need to know how to practice the teaching. But that next step of practicing, of gaining experience with the message that the Buddha is giving us, that's also tremendously important. And so meditation practice is of crucial importance in Buddhism. It's through having understood very clearly that we are able to practice, that we can gain real experience. And it's when we allow ourselves to gain that real experience that the results will manifest. Otherwise, some people tend to think that education, of course, is a good thing, but I'm not really interested in a Buddhist education. I don't really, to be honest, want to study all that much. I just want to practice. And then when it comes to practice, on top of that, the same person may think, I want to practice, but practice really profoundly. To be honest, again, I don't really want to meditate all that much. I just want to become liberated, become free, perfectly free. That's what the Dharma is about, and that's what I want to get to. But whichever idea it is that we have in mind, or whether we have both of them in mind, it's not really very realistic, the way that we're thinking. It's kind of bizarre to think that we can do something that we don't know how to do. That we can meditate without knowing what meditation means. And it's also kind of odd to expect results out of nowhere. Awakening follows through the experience with the meaning of the teachings. And that's what meditation practice is. On the other hand, if we can learn and become very clear about what it is that the Buddha is trying to tell us, so that we have no doubt about it, then on that basis we can gain experience. We know the message. Now it's just to feel it. And if we allow ourselves then to mature and to ripen in that experience, of course there will be results. So this is the way to approach the Buddha Dharma, knowing that it includes these aspects, learning, reflection, and meditation, and that they also entail each other.
Very important, all of you could become scholar practitioner. Many reasons. If we become good scholar, then we know how to practice well. Also, we can serve to other very, very intelligent way. You can give any answer correctly, in clear, correct logic, and it may touch to you, touch to people's mind. Otherwise, sometimes, even when we are good meditator, if anyone asks us question, our answer is quite blurred, and that make two things problem. One, the student not learning. Second, they will get doubt. What kind of practitioner is this? We think this is he or she is good practitioner. What he or she is saying not much makes sense. Are these people okay or not? So there's a double trouble. That kind of thoughts is not good. So that reasons I always encouraging good to become a scholar practitioner. Also, past and now, our duty, what we'll hear, then we need to contemplate. And what we understood, we need to apply that in daily life. Not only once a while, not only session. Say, I need to go practice, I couldn't find quiet place. So I not find quiet place, so I can't do practice. So this is not right. Quiet place make you good practice or not. It's no guarantee. Best is your body is retreat hot, and your mind is a retreater. So wherever you are, you know that Trembadang Sheshin Payo Sanji Sumbekta Chökyi Nyamso Langsun of the Tenshe Payo the matterless and the 60 Yang Sugoyola, Wazu Yang Toyori. Suyori, Toyori, Shingori. To she Shepati, the Latot, Targoramata, Latot, Matana, the Trimido.
To be mindful, to be alert, presence of mind. We know that this is crucial. We know that it's crucial to remain mindful of the teachings, to be alert, noticing what goes on, and that this is the basis for practice.